Hello, and welcome to episode 90 of Anime Territory. I'm your host this week, Johnny Ruhal. With me, as always, is my co-host, Benjamin, Little Boy Detective Shabbing.
Nice.
This episode, we're talking about the Little Boy Detective, Conan O'Brien. Oh, sorry. Conan Edogawa. Yep. Detective Conan. Called in the U.S. Case Closed. This is, we're only covering season 1, because there's no way we'd be able to watch all these episodes anytime in the next year.
There are over 1,000 episodes?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're not covering it all.
No. We're covering the first 28 episodes, because that's what they say season 1 is. What are your spoiler-free thoughts on Detective Conan?
The show's really fun. I like murder mysteries. Grew up watching a bunch of them. So, it's good stuff. They do a really good job with the murder mysteries. It might be a little easy sometimes, especially when you know, the tropes and stuff. But, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I think, from what I was reading, the author kind of went out of his way for everything to make sense and for it to be put in clear language when he was, writing the manga, so that there wasn't, a, wait, what? It was definitely designed so that you could figure it out on your own.
Everything makes sense.
Yes. And then when you take that, though, then everything that you see, you're just like, well, that's important.
Yeah.
So I have to file that away. There's not very many red herrings that I've noticed in the show. You can say there's no communism whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's a Clue reference.
Okay, that's
I watched the movie Clue recently. You were there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just I don't know what spurred it on, but I'm like, I want to watch some Detective Conan.
Is it because we watched Clue?
Maybe. I don't think that got in my head, though. I think I just see it on Crunchyroll or something, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's been a while since I've watched any Detective Conan.
Oh, is it when I was randomly browsing?
Oh, I know what it was. Okay. So you were just randomly browsing in High Dive, and High Dive has the Magic Kaito show, and I'm like, oh hey, yeah, Magic Kaito. That's by the same guy who did Detective Conan. In fact, Magic Kaito shows up in Detective Conan. And then I'm like, Detective Conan's good. Should we just watch that? So that's what it was.
Gotcha.
I figured there's not really a reason. I'll just go. I guess I'll give my spoiler-free takes. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm severely tempted to just start rereading the manga. So I say rereading. I'm not caught up to it. I read a bunch of it years ago. Think over 10 years ago. Probably 15 years ago. So there's some things that I remember and some things I don't. There's some characters I remember.
Did you read the very beginning, or did you just pick up where
I started
it was?
At the beginning?
Okay.
I might have read 400 chapters or something.
Wow.
My memory is that I was using the site I used in middle school to read manga for free, and I feel like I might have gotten caught up with what that site had, but maybe I didn't. I don't know how far I got into it. I also remember being like, oh, I watched some of the show, and the manga seems to skip past some stuff, and that's when I didn't realize at the time. I was like, oh, that's because there's a lot of filler in this show. It's just mysteries that just don't exist. And I think it's also ordered differently, potentially, in the manga, too.
Okay.
So I might have seen some later mysteries sooner in the manga than in the show. That's part of my background. I mean, I first got introduced to this show because there was a Funimation block on some weird channel we had with Dish called Colors TV. They just played some anime, and this was one of the shows. So I've just seen random episodes that are way far in the future too, of that weren't season 1. They're like, well, when did that character get introduced? Episode 40? What? Could have sworn he was sooner. Interesting. So I've just kind of got a jumbled up Detective Conan background. I watched some of the newer stuff when Crunchyroll first started airing it. but then I fell off of that because it's just hard to keep up, and it's a lot. So yeah, that's my background, but I really like it. I think I want to go read some of it now, or maybe watch more of the show. I was wondering if you wanted to take the approach of, because you're like, there's no way I can watch all of this. Like, but what if I just started watching it, and you just came in every now and again and caught an episode, and I caught you up?
Sure.
Okay. Because most episodes, like, you don't need to know. Like, they're just individual cases.
Yeah.
There is, probably some arcs that will go into, like, the actual story behind things. But in this first season, after the first 2 episodes, there's, like, a mention, and it wasn't even, it was just, oh, yeah, there's also people wearing black. Like, of the overarching mystery plot. So,
there's also one episode where, like, it was the soccer episode where it's like, oh, I came here to talk to the Shinichi.
Yeah, and so there
he led Rand to believe that he was, like, in the house, that type of thing.
Yeah, I guess there's also the lingering of, like, is Rand going to figure out that Conan is Shinichi? There's a few episodes where she's, like, suspicious, or she's trying to run into him. And I guess you could sort of call that an overarching plot,
kind of,
too.
Yeah.
In case anybody didn't know, the premise of this show is that...
Oh, yeah, let's do premise real quick.
17-year-old super detective, boy detective, Shinichi Kudo, follows some suspicious men in black after a murder on a train that they did not commit.
No.
It wasn't a train, sorry, a roller coaster.
Yes.
They just happened to be there and were acting suspicious. So he followed them, and they're like, well, we should test out this poison after we knocked him out. We don't have time to, like...
actually kill him or whatever.
Yeah, we can't shoot our guns because it'll make a noise.
And there's cops around.
There's cops around. So let's just slip him this poison, this experimental poison, and get out of here. And then the experimental poison never been used on humans. Just shrunk him. So he's little boy size.
He's a little boy now.
Yeah. And he's worried about if people figure out that, hey, he's that detective, but a shrunken little boy, then people will come after, his loved ones. His friends and family. Though his family doesn't live around here anymore. They moved to America. He meets up with his neighbor, Dr. Agasa, who's basically just like, okay,
an Einstein-looking scientist from the 90s.
Why don't you go live with your crush? And then, I'll invent some gadgets for you and keep your secrets safe. I'll say that you're my relation, and ask that they take care of you, because, your crush's dad is a detective, so that'll put you into the line of maybe running into some stuff or figuring stuff out.
Even though he's a bad detective.
Yes. At times. He shines at times. And then basically, so the premise of the show is mostly that Conan tags along on these mysteries. It solves the case. Uses one of the gadgets from Dr. Agasa to put Kagoro Mori to sleep, and then use a voice changer gadget to pretend to be him and solve the case.
Yes.
And when in the cases when he can't do that, he'll like act like a kid and like point things out to try to like get the detective to notice things quicker. So that's the premise of the show, and it's fun. There's a reason it's lasted so long. There's a reason it's 30 years old, and people are still watching this because they like it. It's fun.
Some episodes are better than others, but as a whole, it's really fun.
Yeah. Should mention the other types of episodes is sometimes to keep his cover, he goes to school and he befriends some people that want to be detectives as well. They make the junior detective. I thought they said club.
I think they started with club and then they renamed it to league.
Yes, but also sometimes they refer to themselves as the detective boys. Yeah. Despite the fact that there's a girl.
Is that girl and boy?
Is that girl a detective boy too? Yes. Their cases are normally a little bit lighter, though there have been some murder.
Well, there's that episode. We're in spoilers, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah, like there's an episode where a dog kills a guy.
Yeah.
And the kids, that's not really a kids episode per se, but they're in it.
No, I was thinking of the one where like she accidentally gets kidnapped and they think it's those like children murderers and there's a head in the.
But it was paper mache.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
It was like Jesus.
But yeah, they're normally a little lighter. Mm-hmm. But there's still danger.
There's a Paul Blart episode with them in it.
Yeah, sure, because it takes place in a mall.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a Segway. They're not fat, rotund cops.
I mean, Ginta's kind of big.
Ginta is kind of big.
It looks like a pencil.
You keep saying that. He looks like a pencil.
He looks like a pencil.
I get where you're coming from, because his head is pointed and his hair is sort of like...
if you turn him over, you can write with him.
But he's too big for that. You want to be able to hold him in your hands. He needs to be skinnier to be like a pencil.
I guess.
But the top of his head, yes. I see where you're coming from there. It looks like a pencil man. He's a fat pencil man. Yeah, so that is... I should mention... we're just kind of in characters now. So we have Shinichi Kudo that's his normal name. He goes by the name Conan Edogawa, which is based off of Arthur Conan Doyle and some other mystery writer that I'm assuming is Japanese. Mm-hmm. He just saw the books on his dad's bookshelf and he's like, that's my name. There's Ran Mori, who is his crush that he lives with them because the doctor's like, can you guys take care of him? And they're like, yeah, sure, why not? And then Kagoro Mori is Ran's dad and the detective. Mm-hmm. Our members of the detective boys are Ayumi, the girl, Mitsuhiko, the nerd,
science nerd,
and Ginta, the fat loud one. You know, the classic archetypes. Mm-hmm. Smart boy, nerd,
big jock.
I don't even know if I'd say jock.
No, but
big muscle boy, and girl.
Yeah.
Those are the 4 archetypes.
Into the himbo?
No. Okay. Because he's like too loud and obnoxious to be a himbo.
Gotcha.
There's got to be like a layer of sweetness to a himbo. Of like, yeah, he's dumb, but, you know, he means well. Mm-hmm. Whereas Genta is like, he's dumb and he's loud. Mm-hmm. And he eats a lot. Yeah. You already mentioned Dr. Agasa, Hiroshi Agasa. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we're joined by Ran's friend, Sonoko Suzuki. Mm-hmm. A recurring character is the actress / idol Yoko Okino.
Okay.
She just comes... We've seen her a couple of times.
Yeah.
They solved a mystery for her, and then they were on her movie set. I think from what I read, she just keeps like, oh yeah. It's like anytime they want to have a mystery where it like deals with that world, the celebrity world, you know, normally she's their door in.
Gotcha.
Of like, oh yeah, I have this talk show I'm coming on. Why don't you come in as a guest or whatever?
Oh no, the talk show host is dead.
Yeah, like that sort of stuff.
Some real Angela Lansbury shit going on.
Yeah. And then, it's just everywhere they go, there's murder. Yeah. We're on this boat. Only the passengers is this family. Oop, there's 2 murders.
Oh, my favorite part is, oh yeah, I'm a detective. They're like, you're a detective? Oh shit, we're caught.
Like everyone freaks out whenever they mention the Kokoro's a detective.
Usually you just be like, oh, okay, that's cool. But they're like, what?
They're like, fuck, hide the gold.
Hide the incest.
No, they're not hiding that incest. And then the only other character of note would be like Inspector Magure, who's just normally like oh yeah, I'm the inspector.
Super chill with the kids in this cartoon.
Yeah. Well, they've solved some cases for him.
That's true.
I just don't know. Does he like realize what Conan's doing? Because he's very much like, why are you at first he's like, why is Kagoro here? You're not a good detective. You don't work for the police anymore for a reason. And then he's like, I guess
he used to be like partners, right?
Yeah, it's like, I guess
we had a lot of cases we did not solve because of you.
And then he's like, I guess he's good at it now. It's like, does he know? Does he realize?
I think he knows that Conan's bright.
From what I've read, I don't think like they ever like care to have his character be suspicious. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, hey, we just need a police inspector guy that will let Conan do his thing.
He's Detective Stottlemyre.
Yeah. I guess. I don't want to say anything bad about Magure, but I feel like Stottlemyre, at least at this point, because we've seen all of Monk, and we've not seen all of Detective Conan, that Stottlemyre has a bit more of a character to him than Magure, who's just sort of there. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, I don't know. Let's see if the kid's right. He got mad at the kids once. It's like there was no body there. How dare you? I shouldn't have trusted the kids. I don't care if you recovered all of that stolen gold from mafia members.
The Italian mafia.
Which, I think that was the only, canon case that they had solved for him at that point.
Okay.
Because there were other cases that they did, but I don't think those were canonical episodes. So, there was more than just that case.
There was case, and then there's the case with them all, because they got, a certificate for that or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any other ones.
There's the boat assassin, with the little toy boat that they use as the thing. I don't know when that one took place in relation, but it's just it's weird that he just mentions that one. I'm like, oh, it's because the other ones aren't canon. So if this one is canon and it's based off of the manga, then that would have been the line that he said in the manga. I don't know if that one was canon or not.
I don't remember.
We had a guide up at one point, and then I'm like, well, we only have 6 episodes left. So, but yeah, I mean, what would you rate this show?
It's an 8.
8? Okay, yeah, I think 8's pretty solid there. Yeah. I'm sure there are episodes that dip down into 6, and I'm sure there are episodes that'll go up to 9 or 10. I don't know if there were any in this first season.
I don't know if I'd ever give anything a 10. I don't think I'd give anything a 10 in this season.
No, I don't think I would either. I like the boat one.
Boat one was good. I called that one though.
Yeah. What was another one that was good? I don't have an episode list in front of me.
I do. Hold on.
I might have one on my phone.
There's Roller Coaster. Don't care. The kidnapping of the company's president's daughter. That's one where the butler did the fake.
Oh, yeah, the fake kidnapping that turned into a real kidnapping.
Mm-hmm. Murder behind the locked doors of the celebrity's apartment. That's one with Yoko.
That's the one with the ice block holding a knife. Suicide. That one was the suicide?
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, I really like this one. Wasn't canon, but I really liked the Valentine murder case.
Oh, yeah, that one was fun.
Because it really felt like all those characters were were developed, and we were just sort of hey, we're just entering into this whole weave of things that's already happening, and we just get a glimpse of it. I felt like they did a really good job with that one.
In all these episodes, I like the Art Museum one was pretty fun.
Yeah. What about the one with the threatening presence to the doctor?
I just saw that one too. I like that one too. They're just going to list off episode names.
Yeah. The festival one was fun. I like that one. I called that one as that picture was taken a year ago.
Yeah, well, that one is good. It's just I know what's happening here.
I figured out the trick.
That's the only way that trick works.
Yeah.
That's the only way that makes sense.
That's the other thing is they're very much, I read that his brother, the manga writer's brother is a scientist, and he helps him develop the tricks. And he very much pays attention to it's not going to come out of left field. There's going to be some sort of trick to this.
Do you like the one on the island with the piano player?
Yes.
Okay, that one.
I felt like it dragged out a little bit at times.
Okay.
But I like the twist in that one. Mm-hmm. The Amy Chan's abduction, the bizarre manhunt murder.
Which one's that? Oh, okay. I remember that one. That one's pretty fun.
Oh, yeah, that's another one you mentioned before we started recording, that they have name rearranging to solve things at times.
Oh.
That was one where they're we take the name of his cats and we rearrange them and it makes the name of this racing horse.
Gotcha.
And that's how they found him. There's the sniper. We talked about that. The missing corpse murder. Oh yeah, that's okay. So the sniper one was literally right before the missing corpse murder. Mm-hmm. Antique collector. That one was okay.
Yeah, I like the drawers.
Fun. There's no way I would have been able to like solve that though.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have been able to actually put the drawers together and form the name. So that one I would take points off because it's like, okay, this is. I get the thing, I get it, but there's no way I can look at that. Even if I knew Japanese, there's no way I'd be able to look at that and rearrange those into a character.
Gotcha.
You know, I'd have to do what Conan did: took a picture of it, cut them out, and rearrange them. Mm-hmm. You know, department store. I like the Pride one.
That one was fun.
Elevator murder one was just okay.
Yeah. That one might make the least amount of sense, kind of. Like, it kind of makes sense, but it's also just like, how do these elevators work?
Yeah, because I thought there were signs on them that says, like, this one goes directly to this floor, and this one goes directly to this floor. But then they're, like, accessing them, and it's like, oh, well, this is...
I thought you said that elevator can only go up to the 8th floor, but it went up to the 15th floor. Unless it was, I don't know.
Yeah, so
that one got a little confusing. Mm-hmm. But I called it.
Yep.
Haunted Mansion one wasn't very good.
No, it wasn't.
TV drama was okay.
Yeah, I like that there were two suspects. Like there's two halves to it. Mm-hmm. Well, they were different people. I guess that's a spoiler. Then we had the luxury liner.
That one was really good.
The amnesia one was whatever. Yeah. The fake ransom case was
whatever.
Yeah, I like John the Dog's murder case just because it was a dog.
Yeah. There's a dog in this one.
He used the dog is the murder weapon. And then the reunion one was good. I like that. They're like, oh yeah, you can just die standing up. That's a cool thing to know. I don't know if it's true, but I like to believe it's true. And it has ping pong in it.
And a bin.
Yeah.
The only episode that I know that had a bin in it, technically.
Okay, now, I mean, we've kind of talked spoilers just in that little segment there. Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite episode of the ones we just listed there?
I think the favorite is probably the luxury liner one.
Yeah.
That one I think is like kind of the hardest one to solve. So it's a little bit, it keeps you more engaged.
Yes, I believe, yeah.
It's the two-parters tend to be a little bit more, not convoluted, but more...
There's more setup to them.
Yeah.
And therefore more...
Thinking you need to...
Yeah. You're like, okay, there's bread. I'm like, okay, well, it's that guy. Wait, no. I guess it's not that guy. Yeah, and then it's like, okay, I get it.
The motive for that one was weak, but again, I just kind of like the mystery part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say the luxury cruise liner is my favorite. That's definitely one that I had watched previously. Okay. Because I remembered that there was some incest going on with the one couple. I thought it was more incest than what it actually was.
But light incest.
I mean, it's first cousins.
Oh, they're first cousins?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I would not call that light.
No.
It's not as heavy as it could be, but I wouldn't call it light.
Yeah, that's like just below other end. Well, I don't know how. We're not going to. Never mind. We don't have to go into this.
Now, do you want to get into spoiler territory? Keeping in mind, there's probably only about 5 things I can say.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So, I mentioned to you before that there is another character, like another main character that we don't have yet.
Okay.
Her name is Ai Haibara. Or that's the name she goes by. Mm-hmm. She is another, like, teenager/adult that took the poison and turned into a kid.
Oh, really?
Yes. So she's in the Detective Boys.
Cool.
Also, she was a member of the black organization.
Okay.
People in Black. In fact, she developed the poison.
Interesting.
Yes.
She was in high school?
Yeah, it was some sort of like kid genius sort of thing. I want to say she was younger than, like, okay, you could have just made her older, but whatever. She is not the first person, but one of the few people that knows that, well, obviously, Dr. Gasa is the first person, but she's one of the few people that is able to figure out that Conan and Shinichi are the same person. Because she's like, well, I know what this drug does. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at me.
Yeah. I'm a little boy now.
Well, she's a little girl now.
She's in the Little Boys Detective.
Yeah, she's in the Detective Boys.
Makes her a little boy.
Okay. It makes her a detective boy. There's a difference.
That's true. I'm just adding a little because they're little.
Well, and also, we kept referring to Conan as Little Boy Detective.
He's a little boy!
He's like, I'm a detective.
I will say, Conan is adorable.
Yes.
I get why they did it. Doesn't make any sense, but I get it.
I mean, you get why they made a Little Boy Detective show.
Yeah.
I told you my theory for why they made it a high schooler who turned into a little boy detective.
Why?
Is so that we could have Ran as a character that is both a love interest and it's not too creepy.
Okay.
Because Ran is great. Ran is peak.
Oh, okay.
Peak anime character. Can I say this?
Sorry, I forgot what our segment was called. Best girl.
Yeah.
Did we just call it Best Girl?
Yeah, we don't really have a catchy name for it.
Yeah, she's Best Girl. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. But that's why they made him a big boy detective that turned into a little boy detective, is so that they could have Ran as a character and they could have some episodes with that romantic tension, but not have it be weird or not have it be as weird.
Okay.
That's why it's there. I'm sure. I don't know. Maybe it's just so that we could set up that organization.
Also, there's probably like that, and it's just like, well, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense if just like an 8-year-old so good at being a detective.
Yeah, so we'll give him a reason.
Age him up, and then age him
down. Yeah. So anyway, Haibara was a member of the Black Organization, is I think what they call it.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right.
And then she's also, Conan knows that, and she knows that he's Shinichi.
Mm-hmm.
When we go, and it's like, I'm hovering over the episode in Amazon Prime, and it's like, hey, here's a look at all the characters. She's on that.
Oh, really?
She's the little girl. Ayumi actually gets like cut off by the words or whatever that's on there, because it's a background image with the words in front of it. So like Ayumi gets cut off, but the little girl is I. There is, I know that at some point we meet Shinichi's parents, and they're at the very least, I think both of them, but at the very least his mom is able to figure it out right away. She's like, yeah, I know what my son looked like when he was 7. Like, you're not fooling me. Mm. That's my boy there. That's my little boy.
That's my little boy.
So yeah, so they know at some point. But the first person to figure it out is actually another teenage detective who sees himself as like a rival to Shinichi. But he's from Osaka. He's the detective of the West, is what they call him.
Ooh, cool.
So he's a character that I've met. And then the only other thing I have here is that, Kaito Kid, the Magic Kaito guy, is like a Carrie Ools in Psych style Phantom Thief.
Okay.
He's a magician / Phantom Thief. And I'm fairly for sure in his own series, there's like real magic, but the author has come out and said, no, the Magic Kaito series is not canonical to the Conan series because I don't want real magic to be a Detective Conan.
Gotcha.
But he's just like a magician / thief. And, they have a rivalry going on there. There's movies where they team up.
Okay. All 27 of them?
I don't think they team up in all 27 Detective Conan movies.
27 movies. It's like
we should figure out what the best one is and watch the best Detective Conan movie.
Okay. We could do that.
And then Oh, I will say, I thought
called the Detective Conan movie.
I thought Magic Kaito was a spin-off of Detective Conan.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out that it was actually came before Detective Conan, and he kind of put it on hold. And he was like, "Well, what if I bring the character in to Detective Conan?"
Oh, okay.
And then they're both technically ongoing, but he just returns back to Magic Kaito occasionally when he needs a break.
Yeah.
But it did start before, so I was wrong about that. Cool. It's not a spin-off. Mm. But you could basically think of the anime probably got made because the Detective Conan anime was so popular. So, like, what else you got? You got the Phantom Thief one? Okay, yeah, we can deal with the Phantom Thief.
Mm-hmm. You sure you don't want to make any more of the little boy detectives?
Fairly for sure I watched some of the Magic Kaito. I think there's 2 animes. I think I watched some of one of them, and Conan wasn't in it, and I was just a little disappointed. But anyway, so watch the show, read the manga. I feel like I thought, like, well, what if we, like, jumped around and tried to figure it out, but all the guides online are like, well, like, here's a guide of what's not canonical if you wanted to use that, or here's a guide of watching it in the manga order because things get mixed up, and I'm like, nobody's really coming here and saying, like, well, you should definitely watch this arc and you should skip this arc, like, nobody's...
Well, there's no arcs.
Yeah.
My guess is there's no arcs, though. It's just...
I think there are, from what I was reading, I can't say for sure, but I think there are, like, arcs involving the Black Organization where they're like, okay, we're on, like, the hunt of one of these guys.
Okay.
So, like, that would be, like, a big one there. But also, people were reading, it's just like, I mean, it's been going on so long for a reason. Like, it's good. And I'd be like, it'd be weird if I didn't watch the first season of this show and I jumped around, because it's like, I might be missing some really good episodes, like...
Yeah.
So, like, I wouldn't have wanted to not watch the first season because there were some really good episodes in there.
But there's also some you could skip.
Yes.
Somebody just needs to tell me the good episodes.
And there's episodes like, well, okay, like, I know that character who figures out that he's, that he's Shinichi. He shows up later. And it's like, what if I'd missed that episode because I was skipping around? Yeah. Like, that seems like it's critical. And, like, these older episodes with the 90s aesthetic is also just...
kind of fun.
Just peak 90s aesthetic, too. Like,
big ears.
Big ears. Big hair. Pointy hair.
Pointy heads.
Yeah, he kind of only has a few head styles. It's like Shinichi and Red sort of have the same head shape.
I'm like, that's just Red with a different haircut.
Yeah.
I know what you did there.
But it's like... So, yeah. I would recommend people watch this or read this. I might go read it. Okay. Or I might watch it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I still need to finish my library book before I start diving into manga.
Mm-hmm. Does the library have Detective Conan?
Probably get it. If they don't, I could probably order it in.
There you go.
So,
anything else?
No, I think that's it. You can follow us on Twitter as at anime_territory, or on YouTube and podcast platforms as Anime Territory. And you're now leaving the Anime Territory.